Hello, if you've seen my face before, then welcome back, or if you're new here, hi, my name's Casey. This channel is currently a mess right now because every month I get inspired to do a different style of videos, and for the past month or two, I have been so consumed by book content, like any reading vlogs or any book hauls, anything. I've just been sitting and watching them for hours and hours and hours, and it's really got me back into reading, because for most of my life, I've been somebody who reads all the time. I always have a book with me, and then in the past, 2 years, really since the pandemic, I've kind of consumed my time with other things, and I haven't been reading as much. And in 2021, I read a grand total of 6 books. On the other hand, my screen time has gone up drastically. I'm a little bit ashamed of my screen time. It's gotten quite bad. And so I thought I would kind of pair together this new reading motivation with just the fact that I need to do something other than stare at a screen. And for one whole week, 7 full days, I'm going to be swapping my screen time for reading time. And I've seen a lot of people do this over the past couple years, so I'll try to link some because there are a lot of videos that are probably getting better than this one. This is more to just challenge myself because I really need to change, and I'm gonna show you why. All right, so we're getting very professional here. I have this drawn out little chart. It's very, very scientific, very professional. Here's the little key, tells you everything. So on the back, red is for screen time, blue is for reading time, and then yellow is just the days that I worked, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't challenging myself to read for 7 hours on a day that I was already working for 10 hours. That doesn't work. So I was trying to make sure that it was all even, which my schedule ended up being pretty consistent for these 2 weeks, so that's not going to be an issue, but I just wanted to make sure. I will be going, today is Wednesday, it's 9 a.m. on Wednesday, and the reason I'm recording outside, by the way, is because my brother is sleeping in the house and I didn't want to wake him up with this video, but we need to get an early start if we're going to get through this. So, last Wednesday, April the 6th, I did work, but I was on my phone for 4 hours and 37 minutes. And you might be thinking oh, that's a good amount of time. That's gonna be a lot of reading in one day. It gets worse. Thursday, April 7th, we've got a whopping 6 hours and 56 minutes. That was a day that I didn't have work, I wasn't hanging out with anybody. I think I literally just sat in the room on my phone all day, which I will also mention that I record and edit on my phone. I'm recording on my phone right now, so that does contribute a lot to the screen time, which, there's not much I can do about that, but I'm still counting it because a majority of my screen time comes down to messages and notes somehow. So yeah, Friday the 8th, we have 6 hours and 34 minutes. Saturday the 9th, 3 hours and 25. Sunday, I did work. It was again 3:25. Monday the 11th, I did not work. It was 5 hours and 35 minutes. And then Tuesday, yesterday, I did work, and it ended up being 4 hours and 56 minutes. I don't even know how that happened because I worked for 7 hours. So tell me when I had time to sit on my phone for 5 hours. So just as kind of a little buffer, I have I'm gonna write all the times, but then if I end up going over, I end up going under, I can kind of add that on to other days so it kind of equals out into the week's total. But that's only if I can't get to certain goals, so we'll see. And the only reason that I'm starting this now is because I was just rereading the Maze Runner series, and I wish I had started 2 days ago because I sat on a couch, I did not move. I read through half of Scorch Trials, I finished it, and then I read all of Death Cure, and then I started the next one because I love those books. I didn't realize it. They are so cool. They are weirdly relatable, but they are so cool. So I figured that would be a good way to start today because I can sit there and read for 10 hours with these books and I would not get bored. So I guess I will just do my reading, throw in a couple time lapses, and then at the end of every day I'll give you a little update where we're at. Did I make it or not? 7 hours? What was I doing on my phone for 7 hours? Okay, we gotta go start this. I would like to also make it known that I have quite a hefty pile of books that I'm able to read while I'm here, just because I didn't know how fast I'd be getting through books. So when we were packing up the house, I had a good stack that I kept with me, and I haven't exactly figured out what order I want to do this video in, but I know I want to finish Maze Runner. That is top priority right now. So I'm 100% gonna finish Maze Runner. There's 2 books left in the series, and then I've been in the middle of the Red Queen series for a while, so we'll see if I get through that. But it is a pretty large book. I just don't want to get started on a book that's so big and then I get bored and then I'm just dragging through the day. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's 12:18 and I just finished The Kill Order, which is 327 pages, but I did start on page 107. You read this right after you finish the whole Maze Runner thing, so you're only hearing about what happens years after everybody's dealt with everything that's gone on in the world. So to then go back to the beginning where people are only only just trying to figure out what's happening to them, what's happening to the world, and how they're supposed to survive, and it's a little too relatable. I gotta be honest, like a lot of the book was talking about like, oh, quarantining and wearing masks, and you know, you want to see your friends, but you have to separate because they have this virus, and I was just reading it and I was like, I think I've seen this somewhere. So it was a little bit unsettling to read, honestly, because you don't want to relate to this type of book. Look at it. That's not something you want to relate to, but this is the world we live in. This is just a little bit more of an extreme version. So next, I could read, there's one more book in the Maze Runner series. I'm not really sure if it's like before or after, if it's like a different character, what it is. So I have options now for what I can read next. Because I'm only 2 hours in, so I still have another 2.5, 3 hours to read today. I could either finish the Maze Runner series with the Fever Code, which is where they built the maze, I'm pretty sure, or I could keep going with the Red Queen series because I'm on Warstorm right now, and I'm only that far into it. I'm only a little bit into it, and it is like 700 pages. Yes, 650. So I can either power my way through this, or I think because I'm so far along in Maze Runner, I'd rather just get through it and finish the series. I will either update you guys right before I have to go to work, or maybe not until I get home. Alright, good morning. It is Thursday morning, and today is the longest reading day by far. Last night, right at midnight, I finished the 4 hours and 37. Kind of weird how perfectly the timing worked out, but I finished the Fever Code, and I am so sad that I'm out of Maze Runner to read today. I could keep reading that for so long. So yeah, today I have to read for roughly 7 hours, which is fine because I have nothing else to do today. So it's just gonna be a lot of sitting and reading. I think the plan today is to keep going through the Red Queen series just because I had so much of it that I never got to. And I really wanna get through it before I just like forget something important. But also that is a hefty book. 650 pages is a lot to just sit through in one day. So if I get bored of it, I can either start the Fifth Wave series, which is the other series I have with me, or I can start moving on to like the individual books because those are the only 2 series I have left. But we're gonna start off with Warstorm and see how long I can go with that. A very slow reading day for me. It's currently 4:50 and I'm only at 3 hours and 20 minutes, but I did just finish this book. And there was a twist in it that I did not even think of like at all, not even a little bit. Very good book, but lots of reading left to do today. Okay, so it's 6:15 and I really did try my best to get through the Red Queen book, but it is so large and the story has gone on for so long. And I remembered I have a bunch of books on Kindle and I don't remember if I've read them or not, but either way it has been many years since I have, so I think I'm gonna just try and find one on there that I like. Also just to give my eyes a break from like physical paper, because like I guess I'm still gonna be on my phone, but it's like it's a lot better than mindlessly scrolling. So we'll see what I find on there. Okay, it's 9:40. I finished the Kindle book and I have roughly half an hour left to read today. So I'm just gonna keep going through with Warstorm.
Watch his shower scene. Watch him be nude.
Hello, welcome to day 3. It's 10:30 a.m. Yesterday I really had my doubts about if I was gonna make it to the 7-hour mark, but I did. Sat and read for a full 7 hours yesterday. And today I'm pretty sure it's close to the same that I have to read. Today I have to read for 6 hours and 34 minutes. But I will say today is my grandma's birthday, so we're gonna be spending some time hanging out with her and just like generally doing family stuff, so I'm probably not gonna get done with that. I do want to read for like at least an hour or 2 today, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read for 6.5. And if I don't get to that, then I'll probably just add it on to like tomorrow or the next day, because I only read for 3 hours those days, because I do still want to read for the full like overall time. Might throw in some clips of us hanging out doing family birthday things over the next couple days. But yeah, yesterday I actually read 3 books. I read all of Every Last Word, then I reread this book called Sad Perfect, which was on my Kindle, and I was just like looking for something that wasn't physical book because my eyes were just so sick of like reading this paper. I read through that. I've read it before, but I don't remember any of it, so I just read through that. Took like 2 or 3 hours, and then the rest of the time I read Warstorm, so now we're this far along. And the plan today is to just keep powering through that, but it's a lot of story and it's a lot for my brain to just like sit and want to read. So I've been just kind of switching between other books like while I'm reading that one.
Oh fuck, I can't open it. Oh, I'm about to have some of Daddy's juice.
Good morning, it's 5 a.m. on Saturday. I ended up only reading for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday, but I knew that was gonna happen. And today's probably gonna be more of the same because more family hangout weekend time. My one goal is to finish this book. I'm on page 527, so I have a little bit over 100 pages, which is definitely possible. So that is my one thing that I need to get done today.
I choose the purple. Lord. What the? Why was that?
Now we wait 36 hours. 36 hours.
Okay, time lapse.
Hello. Good morning and happy Easter. Yesterday I finished Warstorm and then I went on my Kindle, and the one that I read last night was called Finding Audrey, just because I was trying to find something to read to get the time up because I realized it was like 9 p.m. and I was only at 2 hours. So like I said, today is Easter and I work from 12 to 5, which takes up a big part of my reading time, but I'm gonna do my best to try and get through Broken Throne. Maybe not all of it because, again, it's kind of a big book, but I do think it's possible just because I kind of already read the first 200 pages last month because they came out as a separate book. So I'm gonna be skipping the first 2 little sections there. I'm gonna just be getting straight into the rest of it because I did already read those. And I will note one thing about this book, it is so cool. So first of all, it's just a bunch of little letters and it's like all personalized and it's got just little stuff in it. Also, it's all purple. All of the text in this book is purple. That is, I've never seen that before. That is very cool. So I'm probably not going to be able to read that much before work just because I have to get ready and like wake up and do my whole day. Once I get back, I'm going to try and get through this as much as I can. Good morning, guys. It is 7:30 in the morning on Monday. And the past 2 days I've said, oh, well, my reading time isn't that long, so I can probably do some and then catch up on the day before where I missed like a lot of hours. 2 days ago, I hit exactly what I needed to read. Last night, for some reason, I like completely forgot that I was doing this because I ended up only reading for 3 hours out of the 3.5 that I had to read. So I didn't even get to the challenge, let alone go above it to try and catch up for the other days. Today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of the challenge, and I have like 4 or 5 hours to read each day, but I'm also off both days, which means if I actually really commit to this, I could still get the week's total to around the same as last week for my screen time. Yesterday was entirely dedicated to reading Broken Throne, and I read from page, I think, 85 to 380, because again, I did read the short stories before, but I did want to read Farley's story again just because the first time I really had no attachment to it, so I wanted to see if I understand it better now that I've kind of seen how it all plays out. So the goals for today, I want to finish Broken Throne, which should take no more than 2 hours. And then I also want to get through at least another Kindle book, because that's like 2 hours knocked out easy, because I'm just sitting on my phone. Like I can get in bed, I can get all cozy, and I can still just like scroll and read, which obviously maybe takes away from the fact that I'm trying to get off of my phone for 1 week, but I'd rather be reading than scrolling mindlessly, so I'm gonna count it. So I want to finish Broken Throne, read at least 1 book on my Kindle, and then I can either start an independent book or I can start reading the Fifth Wave series, because that's the other series that I have with me here. Anyways, it is a beautiful day outside. It is just glowing over there because it is so early. So I think we need to get started. Alright, it's 2:54 on the last day of this challenge, and I think I'm currently 3 hours in. Last night I started the Fifth Wave, and today I finished the first book because it really pulled me in the same way that Maze Runner did, which kind of is because they're like essentially the same plot but a little bit different, because obviously Maze Runner is about like picking the best people and then working with them, and this is just kind of about everybody's dying. But the setup for both books is very much the same, like the whole end of the world thing, and because of that I am very much drawn to this book. So I think I'm gonna just keep going through this series because I'm invested. I know I said that for Maze Runner, but the same holds true here. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of this video, just like going in between the different genres that I've been going through. It's a lot of the same. It's 3 p.m. and I'm already 3 hours in. That's a lot better than I've done for most days this week. So I can definitely hit the goal, which is 5 hours for today. I will say that this book is maybe 200 pages shorter than the actual Fifth Wave book, so I almost definitely will be getting through it today. So I've read these books before. Not enough to remember like anything specific about the characters, but enough to remember the general misfortune that meets the characters. Alright, it has been 2 whole days since this challenge. I needed some time to just like process because that was a lot of books in a little bit of time. I'm pretty sure within that week, within like 7 or 8 days, I read through 11 books, maybe 12. I think if we include the day before, it might actually be 12 books in 8 days, which is something. That's a lot. Anyways, I need to just wrap this up. So I thought we would just wrap up this video by just kind of talking about the different books. Gonna try my best to avoid spoilers. I just want to talk about like the books and my thoughts and this overall experience, just to realize how melted my brain was after reading and then kind of thinking about it and being like, well, I do that every day on my phone. Like, at least reading seems more productive, but I'll just sit there and mindlessly scroll for that many hours, and my brain is not used to being used. Alright, so I've got it all written here. I'll show it in like close-ups, but over this 7-week period, I read The Kill Order, The Fever Code, War Storm, Every Last Word, Sad Perfect, Finding Audrey, Broken Throne, Just Listen, The Fifth Wave, and then The Infinite Sea. And I have the total hours for each day and just the total hours of the whole week, which my goal was to have, if I didn't get every day perfect, I wanted to at least try and get the grand total to be equal to my phone total. My phone total for the 1 week was 35 hours and 28 minutes. My reading time for this 1 week was 33 hours. I did also write down how many pages I read of each book, which I'm not going to do the math right now, but if I do it by the time I edit, I will put in the number of how many pages I read in these 33 hours, because I feel like that'd be interesting to see. Okay, so very briefly, I will go over all of the books that I read. So first we have The Kill Order and The Fever Code, which I'm not really going to go into that much just because they are so far into the series, but I love this series so much. I didn't think I would, just because it's old. Just in terms of like what's popular now, like it obviously had its popularity a very long time ago, but the story is so good, and the suspense and every little twist and turn, you can't trust anybody, all these things, it just fits so perfectly. And there were parts where it was kind of predictable, and there was like little details that they revealed. It's like, well, obviously that's how it's gonna play out, but like overall, could not put the books down. And I have also read those books before, but I didn't really remember anything at all about them, so it was basically a fresh experience for me. And we have Every Last Word, which I saw on a TikTok, just like, hey, books about OCD, and I was just like, you know, sometimes I'll just look up, I'll look up like mental illness books, and then like find something, whatever looks interesting, and I'll get one. So I saw that and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. It was a very nice break from Maze Runner, because I've been going through so many books about like end of the world and what happens after, so to go to just like a nice normal high school book was very comforting to me. And we have Sad Perfect, which is something I read a long time ago, just deep in my Kindle, because I was looking for any books that I could read. The one thing I will say about this book, I can't think of many books, if any, that I've read in second person. Like, I can't think of any other ones, but you get used to it. It is kind of weird at first, because you're so used to I, or the name, and then to see this as you, it was a little bit unsettling, but it kind of makes you put yourself into the character in a weird way. Then we have Warstorm and Broken Throne, which are the two last books in the Red Queen series. When I first read the Red Queen series, I did not know that there were 2 more books, because they hadn't come out yet. So these were a completely new experience to me, and I really enjoyed how many perspectives they offer. And Broken Throne is all in purple ink, and that is so cool. But in my little notes here, I wrote that for Warstorm, which is like the last book of the main series, and then Broken Throne is kind of just like extras and stuff like that, but for the main series, I wrote it's fun to read, because like it could end really well or really badly, and you don't really know until the end. Like, obviously you're hoping it's going to be the good ending, but you don't know for sure. Finding Audrey was another Kindle book that I just like found. Just Listen, same thing, just an old Kindle book that I was rereading. And then The Fifth Wave, which is uncomfortably similar to Maze Runner, because I read 3 young adult dystopian series during this time, and they are all the same setup. They all start off with like, okay, here's the world, roughly 2020s-ish, sometime during this decade, and then there's either a nuclear war, or there's just like solar flares, or there's, you know, something happens, or just climate change in general. Something happens that drastically impacts the environment and makes places unlivable. And then there's also a pandemic that comes along and just like completely destroys the world. And all 3 of these books in some way involve either climate change completely destroying the planet, or a virus spreading between people and killing off like majority of the population, or, you know, something along those lines. So it was a little weird to read, because when they wrote them, I don't think these authors knew how real the stuff that they were writing is. Maybe they did. Maybe they're just that good, but genuinely, it is quite unsettling to read about when you realize just how real all of these books could be. And then The Infinite Sea is the last book that I read during this challenge, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really like it. I feel like it didn't add anything to the Fifth Wave books. I feel like it just like, there was no advancement of the plot. It was literally just them sitting in this place, and then they leave this place, and that was the entire book, and it didn't feel like any characters really changed. I didn't feel like there were any interactions. My main reflection of this is reading so many books in such a short period of time really makes you want some more than others. Like, it makes you compare them, because all of the series that I read were all end of the world, now what? All of the like individual books that I read were all very much just teenagers dealing with mental health, how do they deal with it, all these things. And you realize a lot of similarities between the characters. And maybe it's because that's what was popular at the time, maybe it's because that's just a universal experience, you know. I don't know what it is, but I really enjoyed this. I really liked having an excuse to be like, oh, I can't be on my phone right now. I have more important things to be doing. I need to be reading these books. I powered through them. I don't think I've ever read this many books in such a short period of time before, and it's because I had to, because if I'm sitting on my phone so much, why am I wasting time scrolling mindlessly when I could just be enjoying these stories? Because I do enjoy the stories, and it's been so long since I've enjoyed reading and since I've actually sat down and read books, and so to be able to sit down and just read, it feels good. I think I will be continuing this. I think I would like to continue, not to the extent that I did this, but it would be very nice to just keep doing this and keep putting my phone down and being like, I'm gonna read a book. So yeah, that is my experience with this challenge. I don't really know how to end this video because I've never done a video like this before, so I'm not really sure what my final thoughts should be, but there they are. If you'd like to see my main channel where I do music, it's Riverbend, you can check it out. Or you can subscribe to this channel, which is whatever I want to post. And I think that is all I have for you this time, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.